Good morning. Wednesday, February 12th. Good morning. This is Steve OC's channel. And we are working through A Course in Miracles, one lesson per day, and a corresponding text where we discuss that workbook lesson of the day and go over the text. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. Let's begin, as we always do, with the introduction to the course, which goes like this. This is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And we are glad to hear it. And good morning. Jonathan Bright is here. If you have not seen him on TikTok, go check it out. And Jonathan participates in this live, which we very much appreciate. He works that like button. If you get a chance, be like Jonathan, be like Mike, be like Jonathan. Hit the screen, hit that like button. If you are not following his channel, follow the channel. And after this is over, as you can see, Jonathan is also giving gifts, which I appreciate. I'll take those gifts and I'll share those gifts on other lives that I watch or that you can recommend if you'd like. I go and watch Moon Man T. I go and watch Conscious Warrior Training. There's another guy on here called Way, W-A-Y. I'm not sure he's doing lives yet. I haven't seen his live, but he also has an excellent channel. So thanks for the gifts, Jonathan, and thanks for the likes. So today we are on lesson 43. One lesson per day. Everybody knows the rules. Lesson 43, God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. It says, perception is not an attribute of God. His is the realm of knowledge. Yet he has created the Holy Spirit as the mediator between perception and knowledge. Without this link with God, perception would have replaced knowledge forever in your mind. With this link with God, perception will become so changed and purified that it will lead to knowledge. That is its function as the Holy Spirit sees it. Therefore, that is its function in truth. So, the Course says the ego mind, the mind of separation, of a separate self, is the mind that perceives because it shifts in its perception. First one thing, then another. It's not consistent. And that is what we have created individually and collectively. And so anything we create is not destroyed by the Holy Spirit. It is used by the Holy Spirit. It is not eliminated by the Holy Spirit. It is transformed by the Holy Spirit. So we created perception, which is not constant, which is not knowledge, and is not the truth. And instead of God condemning us for that or punishing us for that, he simply provided a solution. The solution is the Holy Spirit, which is the bridge back to God, or is the healer of our perception. So the Holy Spirit's function is to help us change our perception. It says, in God, you cannot see. Perception has no function in God and does not exist. Yet in salvation, which is the undoing of what never was, perception has a mighty purpose made by the Son of God for an unholy purpose. It must become the means for the restoration of his holiness to his awareness. Perception has no meaning. Yet does the Holy Spirit give it a meaning very close to God's. Healed perception becomes the means by which the Son of God forgives his brother and thus forgives himself. You cannot see apart from God because you cannot be apart from God. Okay, kind of a paradox here. Cannot see apart from God, and yet we seem to be apart from God. So there's a paradox there. The Holy Spirit calls, the Course in Miracles calls it an impossible situation. You've put yourself into an impossible situation. And that's why it also concludes that this has to be a dream. It's not real. Nothing real can be threatened, the mind of God. Nothing unreal exists. This does not really exist. This body does not really exist. It passes away. It changes, it transforms, it's not constant. But God gave us a solution. God gave us the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is here with us. And so there is a solution. And now it tells us how to practice today. 3 5-minute practice periods are required today, one as early and one as late as possible in the day. The third may be undertaken at the most convenient and suitable time that circumstances and readiness permit. At the beginning of these practice periods, repeat the idea for today to yourself with your eyes open. Then glance around you for a short time, applying the idea specifically to what you see. 4 or 5 subjects for this phase of the practice period are sufficient. You might say, for example, God is my source. I cannot see this desk apart from him. God is my source. I cannot see that picture apart from him. Okay, so this is more practice with the idea that my holiness envelops everything I see. The things I see outside of me are not separate from me. Of course, in a physical sense, they are separate from me. But in the sense of consciousness, they are not separate from me. My consciousness envelops everything I see, my holiness, because my mind is part of God's. I am very holy. Okay, we extend that holiness to everything we see. Okay, that has profound implications once you really get the consciousness fired up. Okay, if you have read any sort of literature from Yogananda, Autobiography of a Yogi, if you've read that, or if you've read Baird T. Spalding, Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, you will understand that the expansion of consciousness and the deepening of consciousness can, if you believe what you read in those books, can be translated into manipulation of matter. Because there is no separation. Of course, the Course in Miracles does not get into that specifically, although I believe it is implied very strongly in the text and the workbook. So, although this part of the exercise period should be relatively short, be sure that you select the subjects for this phase of practice indiscriminately without self-directed inclusion or exclusion. For the second and longer phase, close your eyes, repeat today's idea again, and then let whatever relevant thoughts occur to you add to the idea in your own personal way. Okay? Let whatever relevant thoughts occur to you add to the idea of the day. Thoughts such as, I see through the eyes of forgiveness. I see the world as blessed. The world can show me myself. I see my own thoughts, which are like God's. Any thought related more or less directly to today's idea is suitable. Thoughts need not bear any obvious relationship to the idea, but they should not be in opposition to it. Then it talks about mind wandering, which will inevitably occur. El Chapulín, Colorado, thank you. He just followed. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. I'm looking for 3 people to follow me today. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Then it talks about mind wandering. And so what it says to do is open your eyes back up, reconnect with things outside, close your eyes, repeat the idea, go back inside. Okay? So you're just working. There's specific ways to do the exercises. Exercises are outlined, and they're sort of a pattern develops there, just like doing, 15 reps, 15 flies, 15 deadlifts, etc., 15 arm curls, 15 squats, 3 sets of 15. That's what you're doing with these exercises with our mind and consciousness. Thanks, Jonathan. Got us up to 3,000 likes today. That is awesome. And it helps distribute this live. So anyone else, hit that screen, hit the like button. The live goes out to more people. Or you can share it yourself. You can hit the share button and send it to a couple friends. Okay, then it also says use the idea in shorter practice periods throughout the day. Thanks for joining the team. Or a heart, Jonathan. Love it. Okay, today's idea should be applied throughout the day to various situations and events, particularly to those which seem to distress you in any way. For this purpose, apply the idea in this form. God is my source. I cannot see apart from him. I cannot see this apart from him. Okay, God is my source. I cannot see this bad weather apart from him. God is my source. I cannot see this crazy driver apart from him. God is my source. I cannot see the boss I don't like apart from him. Okay, remember, we're trying to change our consciousness, our state of our feeling state, okay, and therefore the way we perceive the world, trying to lighten it up. Okay, try not to allow long periods of time to slip by without remembering today's idea and thus remembering your function. All right, so again and again, the Course will tell us that my function is to remember who I am. My function is to remember God. My function is to see God in everyone and in everything. That is absolutely my function. And there's another promise in the Course. The voice of Jesus says, pay attention to what's important. Okay? Render unto God what is God's. And it says, I will take care of the rest. Okay? There's a promise and a guarantee in there that if I can keep my attention stayed on thee, if I can keep my attention on my source, of everything, on my being as everything, then everything will be supplied, which is the Sermon on the Mount. Take no thought for the day. Take no thought for where I'm going to get my food, where I'm going to get my rent, how I'm going to pay my bills. Okay, easier said than done. I admit it. No doubt about that, okay, because the mind has been conditioned, right? Trust me, anytime I really get into it, the inner objections, okay, because the ego's going to object, okay, because the ego wants you to stay in the middle of the herd. The ego doesn't want anyone sticking their head up above the crowd. Ego's going to start to object, and the ego's going to start to object by the people around you, okay? Try it out. You'll see what I mean. Okay, chapter 6, we're going to section 3. It's called the relinquishment of attack. The relinquishment of attack. If I defend myself, I am attacked. That's much later in the workbook, but nonetheless, if I also, as a corollary, in my defenselessness, my safety lies. But if I defend myself, I'm attacked. If I'm defending myself, I already subconsciously believe I've attacked, and I'm going to be attacked back. Therefore, I have to give up the idea of attack. I have to give up the idea that attack has any value. That's a value of the ego. So it says here, as we have already emphasized, every idea begins in the mind of the thinker. Therefore, what extends from the mind is still in it. And from what it extends, it knows itself. Part of the illusion of the ego is if I attack someone or blast them, I've gotten rid of something. No, I've only more firmly embedded it in myself and really in the other person. Okay? I haven't gotten rid of it. Get it out, fine, get it out, but you have to realize it's in there. It hasn't been given up. It has to be given up. If it's given up, I'm not going to do it anymore. What extends from the mind is still in it, and from what it extends, it knows itself. The word knows is correct here because the Holy Spirit still holds knowledge safe in your mind through her impartial perception. By attacking nothing, she presents no barrier to the communication of God. Therefore, being is never threatened. Your godlike mind can never be defiled. The ego never was and never will be a part of it. But through the ego, you can hear and teach and learn what is not true. You have taught yourself to believe that you are not what you are. You cannot teach what you have not learned, and what you teach, you strengthen in yourself because you are sharing it. Every lesson you teach, you are learning. And the Course in Miracles, when it says teach, just means your thought system. However you act, however you behave, however you communicate, you are teaching. As you are being, you are teaching, and you are also learning. That is why you must teach only one lesson. If you are to be conflict-free yourself, you must learn only from the Holy Spirit and teach only by her. You are only love. But when you deny this, you make what you are something you must learn to remember. I said before that the message of the crucifixion was teach only love, for that is what you are. This is the one lesson that is perfectly unified because it is the only lesson that is one. Only by teaching it can you learn it. As you teach, so you will learn. If that is true, and it is true indeed, do not forget that what you teach is teaching you, and what you project or extend, you believe. Project from the ego, extend from the Holy Spirit. Either way, it's what you believe. It's what I believe. The only safety lies in extending the Holy Spirit, because as you see her gentleness in others, your own mind perceives itself as totally harmless. Okay? So I want to see the gentleness of the Holy Spirit in my brothers and sisters. I am looking past the surface, deeply into them, into their soul. I am looking past their behavior or what they are saying, into their soul. Thanks for the likes, Beth the Sybil. Jonathan put up 3,000. Let's see. Beth the Sybil put up another 3,000 on the way to ballet as she drives to ballet. Don't think it's going to happen. Okay. One can, let's see. Only safety lies in extending the Holy Spirit, because as you see her gentleness in others, your own mind perceives itself as totally harmless. Once it can't accept this fully, it sees no need to protect itself. The protection of God then dawns upon it, assuring it that it is perfectly safe forever. The perfectly safe are wholly benign. They bless because they know that they are blessed. Without anxiety, the mind is wholly kind. And because it extends beneficence, it is beneficent. Safety is the complete relinquishment of attack. Okay? That's the complete opposite of the ego. The ego believes attack is safety. The Holy Spirit believes safety is the complete relinquishment of attack. No compromise is possible in this. Teach attack in any form, and you have learned it, and it will hurt you. Yet this learning is not immortal or eternal, and you can unlearn it by not teaching it. Now that attack is not only me attacking you, it's understanding that that person is not attacking that person. There is no attack. Even if I think I see someone attacking someone. Incorrect. No attack. Have to relinquish attack completely. And the idea of attack. It's tricky. Tricky. Since you cannot not teach, your salvation lies in teaching the exact opposite of everything the ego believes. This is how you will learn the truth that will set you free and will keep you free as others learn it of you. The only way to have peace is to teach peace. By teaching peace, you must learn it yourself, because you cannot teach what you still dissociate. Okay? It has also said you cannot give what you do not have. So I cannot give peace unless I have peace. Only thus can you win back the knowledge that you threw away. An idea that you share, you must have. It awakens in your mind through the conviction of teaching it. Everything you teach, you are learning. Teach only love, and learn that love is yours, and you are love. Jonathan says, when you fight a mirror, the only person you can hurt is the self. Yes. Except you can't, small s, I suppose you could hurt, big S, self. Big S, self, the true self, you cannot hurt. It has never been hurt. It cannot be hurt. You can't hurt it. I can't hurt it. Right? So it's untouchable. It's sinless. It's guiltless. It's perfect as God created it. So, yes, I would agree with you, Jonathan. When I fight a mirror, I'm fighting myself, and I'm fighting myself as the ego. So I'm in the realm or the house of the ego. That's where the fight is. There is no fight in the Holy Spirit. And Jonathan becomes the gifter king. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. So, thank you very much for the comments, Jonathan. Thank you for the likes. And I think Beth the Sybil got to 100 likes. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. So every day we're here going through the Course in Miracles. 11 a.m. Central Time. And then if you miss the live, I will download it and post it on YouTube at Steve OC's. So you can find it over there. I appreciate everyone showing up. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Jonathan and Beth, thank you for sticking around. And that is all for today. So have a great day. Peace and blessings. Love you. Have a good one.